Hello! It is Friday. Happy Friday. Let's drink some coffee. I wouldn't lie. I could go back to bed. Sleepy time. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Friday, April 17th, 2020. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Good stuff. Good times. Well, I'm still kind of flying high from the seminar last night. It went well. Definitely things to improve. Definitely some of the drills did not translate the way I had hoped, because I'm used to doing them in a group format, live, multi-person format where I can set people up in pairs, and some of the stuff didn't work. Some of it did, though, and I'm happy for what it did. And it gave me something to work on, something to think about. I've got some ideas for improvement. Maybe we'll do it again. If not, maybe we'll do it something else. Stacy says that it was fun. Well, good, Stacy. Thank you. I'm glad you came by. Yeah, it was nice to train with my friends and people who aren't my friends. I mean, it was a good time. It was nice to see. We had people from all over the place, which was super cool. People from the West Coast, people from right here in Vermont. It was quite the mix. I think I counted 25 people. Not bad for the first time we do a thing. So, I'll make some revisions, take some notes on this, maybe do it again, but I'll start thinking about what the next one will be. We might do a few more of these during quarantine. I don't know it's something that we're going to add in as a regular content piece, because this is not the goal for Whistlekick. This is not what we're really trying to do. But I wanted to show people that we could do some things like this, and that hopefully some of the people who are teaching would take some inspiration from some of the things that we did. Using an external camera, external microphone, hooking it up to the television, taping out my marks on the floor so I knew how to stay on camera, having an outline to work from. Lots of little stuff. Yeah, you can wing it, but if this is new, anything you do, right? It's hard to just kind of wing it and expect that you're going to be good at something unless you've done it a bunch of times. I was having a call with one of my clients yesterday who was thinking about getting into a podcast, and he wanted to talk to me about a podcast, and not to be immodest, but I know a little bit about podcasts. I've done 500 episodes of them. Over 500, because we have stuff that isn't released yet. And one of the things we were talking about was the importance of working on certain aspects, certain segments. If you think about it like martial arts. If you take a form, yeah, you can work on that form, but if you're struggling with the punch that happens all the time in that form, maybe it makes more sense to spend some time just working on the punch. Forget about the form, forget about the rest. Work on the punch. Yeah, eventually you could improve that punch by doing the form, but it's not the most efficient way. The form is the collection of all those individual skills. Teaching a class is a collection of a lot of individual skills, from managing time and staying on task to interacting with people, which I think that's the thing I'm struggling the most with. Probably the thing everyone's struggling the most with is interacting with people via internet, via Zoom. There were some people who were doing things really well last night, some people who were kind of going off doing their own thing. And I tried to pull him back, but I think it's hard to kind of respond to that collective energy that we have when we train together if you're not training with people. That energy doesn't really seem to carry over through the internet, and that's okay. We do what we can with what we have, where we are. And then, of course, after the session, we had probably 20 minutes of conversation. Some people stuck around, and that was great. So, definitely the highlight of my week. So everyone who came, thank you. There's been a request of if this is going to be available. Yes, it will. I'm going to edit it together. I'm not quite sure exactly how much work I'm going to put into that. This might be the project that motivates me to get some actual video editing software. The stuff I use is really, really wonky, and I need something that supports multi-track video because I've got the Zoom call and then I filmed on my phone this thing, and would love the ability to be able to switch back and forth because that would completely change things. And I don't know how much I have to spend for that, so we'll find out. So what's going on today? Or what? Anything else happened yesterday? Collected like another half gallon of birch sap. These trees are productive. I'll have to go out and get more today. I don't know what I'm going to do with it all. I might save it all and then might actually make some birch syrup. I would have to do it outside because I've learned from talking to people, you boil that stuff off in your house and you just have that much moisture. So I might build a fire pit and build a double boiler and just boil all that off. See what happens. Anything else yesterday? No. How about today? Yes. What's going on today? I think I've got I've got this huge professional chainsaw that I ended up inheriting from. It was a long story, but it's way more than I need. So I put it on Facebook yesterday. I did some research. I put it up at $350, and there's a guy supposedly driving from Maine today to pick it up. Nobody has balked at the price. I guess I've set the price way too low. This guy's driving 4 hours each way to pick up this chainsaw. We'll see if that happens. Says he's going to be here just before lunch. Because I can take that money, spend half of it by a decent electric chainsaw, have some money left over. Why not? Maintaining a chainsaw is a pain in the butt. Not something I want to do anymore. What else? All right, let's talk about this weekend. Gonna get outside, work in the yard, work in the garden some more. Excited for that. Put air in my bike tires the other day and they're holding, so I might go for a bike ride, which is not a thing that I have really done much of as an adult. I used to live near a park, a town park, and would bike on those trails, but that was like a one summer thing. That wasn't something that I did much of, but there's so many roads and dirt roads, side roads around here, I might as well. So that might happen this weekend. I might go for a long bike ride. We'll see. Let's get to the questions. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what you've all given for me to talk about. Shout out to everybody who leaves questions and comments. I appreciate that. You make the show better. Shout out to Frank and Gabe today, it looks like. Frank's got jokes. The jokes for Funday Friday. Why is Santa so good at karate? He has a black belt. What do you call a rabbit with fleas? Bugs Bunny. What season is it when you are on a trampoline? Springtime. Love it. All right. Today, April 17th, 2020, is Herbalist Day. I did not know that. What is your favorite herb to grow? And follow up, what's your favorite herb to use? My favorite one to grow may or may not be classified as an herb. I think of it as an herb because of its properties, and that's comfrey. Comfrey is this utterly amazing plant. It is incredibly resilient. It has these powerful medicinal properties. It's got a lot of B vitamins. If I remember correctly, the most protein of any green. It's not the tastiest thing. It's kind of furry. It's not something you're going to go out and pick and just munch. I mean, I do, but most people aren't going to do that. But what I really love about comfrey is that it is, it's the whole, it's so many things. You know, you find a lot of herbs that, yeah, maybe they're really good in this one way or these two ways, but they're hard to grow in a short growing season. Comfrey grows. Comfrey is really good breaking down nutrient out of the soil, so it becomes awesome in compost. If you don't clean out a wound before you put comfrey on it, there's a chance that the dirt will heal into the wound. I put it in salads. It's an awesome plant. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them growing here. It can grow wild. The best ones do not propagate. You have to take cuttings, and I bought some years ago, and they've done really well here. So yeah. Gabe says make sure you get a good electric saw. Oh, I hope we don't have too much of a delay today. We might. I have a cheap one. I'm gonna get a 40 volt. The one I have right now is a 12. 18? The one I have right now is an 18 volt, and it's not enough. It's enough for very small branches, but I've read a lot of good stuff about 40 volt ones, and so I'll get something from that. But I'll continue to do research, but thank you. My favorite herb to use, you might think is comfrey, and it's not. My favorite herb is spicy oregano. I don't remember when or where I found this, but it's one of the few herbs that have not died off in my herb garden, and it's doing great. This spicy oregano, any pasta dish, anything with tomatoes, it's awesome. It has this great smell, great flavor, and anywhere you would use oregano or even like salt and pepper, it works well. And come fall, I get out there and I take as much as I can without killing the plants, and I use it sparingly through the winter, but it's awesome. I should probably try to find more of it and plant more of it. Yeah. So those are my herb questions. I like growing plants. What's your ideal gardening layout, and what would you grow? Ideal. So, ideal is all raised beds because it's easier to keep weeds and rocks and stuff when you mow around it out. The first raised bed I had put in, my landscaper friend built, and it's huge. It's 20 inches off the ground. I'm showing you, but you can't see. It's 20 inches. It's each side. The height is it's built with 2x10s, and that's been great. Other than it took a huge amount of soil to fill. So the next one, the ones I built a couple weeks ago, were 12 inches high. And looked outside yesterday to see the neighbor's dog taking a dump in one of them. So that wasn't great. That wouldn't have happened with the taller one. But more so than any kind of fancy layout. I'm not someone who tries to, control nature. I don't use grass seed. I don't use weed killer. I don't do anything like that. Dandelions are the sign of unhealthy soil. It's trying to fix it, for any of you who don't realize that. And more so than any kind of fancy layout, I just let things happen. And if a plant's growing that I don't want, I cut it off, cut it down, put something on it. If something's growing that I want to, I'll cut stuff around it, give it an opportunity to succeed. There's a lot of great stuff. I mean, things that were here when I bought this place. The maple trees that I tapped, the birch trees that I tapped, the apple trees, pear trees, blueberry bush. What else do we have here? Burdock. I put in the comfrey. There are some wild blackberries that grow, not very many. You know, there's a lot there. And this is one of the reasons I live where I live versus living in the middle of the city with a small lot. Yeah, there's a lot you can do with that, but people get all kinds of bent out of shape when you let things go. I know someone who lives in Burlington who just refused to mow her lawn. And she was getting written up. I mean, I don't know if she was actually getting fined, but the newspaper was talking about her, you know? And I could never live somewhere like that. Not as my main home anyway. I like nature. I like inviting nature in. I think I've said it on this show, and I'm reminding myself almost every day, we can't out-science nature. You know, let's put down weed killer. Well, the weeds are going to come back. They came for a reason. They're trying to do something. How do we work with it? There are a few fields around here that when the dandelions hit, it's like sun on the ground. It's beautiful. And I don't know how anyone can look at dandelions and think that they're not attractive. They're bright yellow flowers. They're great. I'll take a twist on Gabe's question. If I could change anything in the layout for my gardens, what would it be? I would like to have a greenhouse. I would like my backyard to be flat. It is not, which makes, you know, if I was to put a greenhouse in there, it would be a fair amount of excavation. You know, there's a decent grade there. And that's probably the main thing. I mean, I don't mind that it's not flat, but it makes putting some things in less than ideal. I'm looking forward to being able to put my plants outside. They're looking forward to being outside, cooped up all winter. It's funny, you can really see the difference between the plants when I put them outside for the summer. When I bring them back in, they do so much growing. Stacy wrote in, I got written up in my condo community for overabundant gardening, i.e. I let the garden go hog wild and didn't control a damn thing. I understand the appeal of living in a condo community, that you can let people, you know, a lot of things are taken care of for you. But I don't know that I would be willing to play by other people's rules. I mean, I bought a place out in the woods for a reason. I want to do my thing. I don't want anybody telling me what to do. Coffee came out good today. So, other kind of gardening things on the list for this weekend, and I will tie this back to martial arts in a moment. Taking some cuttings. There are, you know, I mentioned pear, apple, other trees, blueberries. There are a variety of ways to take cuttings, and most of them are really hard to do. You've got to, you know, there's a skill there that I'm going to try and develop because it's a lot cheaper than buying plants, especially when you know that plant has done well in this environment. When I interviewed Jonathan Bluestein, who's an author, recently moved to Canada, really nice guy, really like Jonathan, Sifu Bluestein. We spent the first, I think, 15 minutes of the show talking about gardening, that he had just come in from working in his garden. He lived in Israel at the time. And talking about the idea of Kung Fu as this concept of mastery and how it doesn't necessarily apply to martial arts. We use it in a strictly martial arts term in the West, but it is not a term that exclusively applies to martial arts. You can be a master of, in this case, gardening. I am certainly not a master of gardening. I'm probably like a green belt, maybe a brown belt, somewhere in there. Anything you put your mind to, anything you work on, anything you improve, anything that you bring attention to. Could I, you know, pluck every weed and keep every blade of grass the same height and do all this very meticulous stuff to my yard and my gardens? I could. I'm not gonna. It's not my scene. I like having the grass short enough that I can tell where the snakes are, because I'm not a fan. And anything else can just kind of go. Oh, by the way, there's a great product I found called Snake Be Gone that, knock on wood, didn't see a single snake in the areas I spread it last year. Gonna have to use more of that, because there's nothing worse than going in like, oh, let me grab that garden hose and seeing that there's a snake right there next to it and realizing, that was a snake I almost picked up. I don't want to do that. As long as they stay away from me, we're fine. I had one a few years ago that decided to get out in front of the mower, and I very slowly, it took like 10 minutes, chased it into the woods. It's like, come on, let's go. You go this way. So, all right. That's me. That's my day. I hope you get the chance to get outside. If for nothing else, get some sun on your face. Maybe do a little bit of training. If you came to last night's seminar, do some slow training outside. There's magic in the slow. Be present, be aware, visualize what you're doing. Be creative with your motion. Enjoy it, have fun. And if people... I think we're at a point where enough people have seen Tai Chi that nobody thinks you're crazy for doing it. Now, if you went out and you did, forms full tilt on your lawn, more people would probably think that's crazy. So if you're someone who doesn't like others judging them, slow it down enough, make it look like Tai Chi, I don't think anybody's going to bat an eye. Whatever you do today, this weekend, I hope you have fun. I hope you do something for yourself. I hope you do something productive. I hope you feel good about the time. So, don't forget to leave me questions for Monday. Questions, comments. And thanks again to Frank and Gabe. And that's it. I'll see you back here on Monday. Take care, everybody. Peace.